Café and Networking Podcast promotes entrepreneurs, business experts throughout the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, an American known as the King of Networking, podcasting, networking, and connecting people, speaking from my studio in Brazil. Today we talk with Steve Preda, and he's joining us from Richmond, Virginia in the United States. Steve Preda is a leadership team coach whose passion is to help emerging privately owned businesses grow and thrive. A Pinnacle guide and two-time best-selling author, Steve takes your business to the pinnacle. So Steve, soon 2022 comes to an end. How can companies keep their A players moving forward?
Right. So, hi, Tom. Great to be here. A players are the people who are a great culture fit and who are also highly productive for your business. And in order to take your business to the pinnacle, you have to make sure that you pay attention to the 5 pinnacle principles, which you can find on my website, www.stevepreda.com. So if you go there, you see that the 5 pinnacle principles are people, purpose, playbooks, perform, and profit. And the first pinnacle principle is the people. And we start with people because people are the most important. And what you want is a company that attracts great people and retains great people, especially A players who are highly productive and who are a great fit to your culture. And you keep them by having a company that is growing, because the A players want to work for a growing company. They want to have a career. And if you can offer the opportunities for them, then they're going to have that career at your company. But if your company is treading water, they're going to soon go somewhere else where they can keep growing.
So it's not only just keeping your nose above water. You got to get in the boat and make it move.
Absolutely. This is a great point that you're raising, Tom, because many companies are just surviving. That's their comfort zone. You know, one year they make a little bit of profit. Next year they lose it. Then they make a little bit. They only work hard when they have to, and then they keep in this perpetual cycle of feast and famine. And what you want is the company to take off, to leave the gravity, the force of gravity, and to keep advancing. And you can only do that by crafting a powerful purpose that will attract the company to go somewhere. If you're not going anywhere, you're going to stay where you are. So that's the second principle, purpose, which you really need to figure out so that you attract the right people and put them at work for a great mission, and then work together to leave the gravitational force of survival and start thriving.
And I agree with what you said, because what I see in my interviews, that people today, they've always been important. But what we do see, as soon as a company starts adding water to their boat, the first thing they do is release people. And obviously they may not release the A people, but it's a message out there that people are dispendable. And we're seeing that every day today, even post-pandemic. People trying to attract A players, but also not giving consideration for the return to work, to the workplace. The business is still confusing in many places. People are still trying to ramp up again. So that message needs to be clear throughout.
And, finding and keeping A players is not happening in a vacuum. So an A player is someone who is a great fit for the specific job.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you're putting people in the right functions. And then you also have to give them all the coaching and mentoring so that they can keep growing that function. You can't expect your people just to be A players on their own. You have to help them to become A players by finding the right fit position, function for them, and then to giving them all the coaching and mentoring on an ongoing basis.
I noticed on your LinkedIn profile, your banner, you say the people on top of the mountain didn't fall there. So obviously those persons, those A people, they've done a lot of preparation to get there themselves.
They did, and sometimes it helps to have a Sherpa who's been there, who's done it, who knows where the dangerous areas are, and who can navigate you up there. And if you're a business owner, then you're essentially the Sherpa for your own business, and it's on you to make sure that your people safely ascend the mountain and then they come back alive as well.
And then they're able to return or go up another mountain.
That's right. So that's called false peak. So when you're climbing the mountain and you think you're at the top of the mountain, and when you reach the top, then you suddenly see on the horizon there's a bigger mountain. So you haven't reached the top. You just reached a mountaintop, but there's another mountain which is going to be higher. So that's the life of a company. Keep conquering higher and higher mountains all the time.
Well, I agree with you, because that's the business challenge. I don't want to say you never reach the top, but there are more tops out there.
And sometimes you're not the person who's going to take the company to the next stop. Maybe that's the top for you. Mm-hmm. So that's another job for you, to make sure that there is a succession management in place who is going to take over at some point when you feel burned out, when you're no longer motivated by conquering the next peak, so that the company has its long-term purpose that is driving towards. You just get off the bus and the company keeps going, and that's how you create a valuable company that someone else will want to own.
Very good, Steve. I want to thank you for sharing your time. So how can our listeners find you and help on this journey to the pinnacle?
So again, stevepreda.com, stevepreda.com. And then they will see what the Pinnacle principles are. They can download the summary of my best-selling book, Pinnacle. Mm-hmm. They can also download a Pinnacle journey assessment to see how their company stacks up, and they can also connect with me there.
Very good. So thanks again, Steve.
Thank you, Tom. Great to be on your show.
And for our listeners, again, it's Steve Preda, StevePreda. Find him on LinkedIn and his site, stevepreda.com. stevepreda.com. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus Semi Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information on their website, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.